Okay, so hi guys. I know it's been quite a long time since I actually made a video, and if you don't want to know why, skip to about 2 minutes in, as that's where I'll talk about gameplay. So basically, I streamed for 4,000 subscribers, and I enjoyed it, but my gameplay really suffered, and I didn't really enjoy playing bad, and I actually felt like I wasn't playing very well at all. And I decided I was going to actually try and get diamond before I started making videos again, just because I didn't feel comfortable making videos without being able to hit diamond, because I thought that was kind of like the skill cap I wanted to hit and still feel comfortable making videos. So that's basically why I haven't made a video for a while. Other than that, I went on holiday for 5 days and then I came back and won like 15 games straight of solo queue and got straight into diamond, which is pretty nice. And you know, that always feels good when you win a lot of games in a row and then you get promoted. It feels like it's right. But anyway, so expect a lot more videos in the near future. I'm gonna start doing more replay analysis. That's what I enjoy most. But I thought I'd come back with a game like this because it's interesting to me because this is quite a high elo game. It's like 2,350 average, and there's Angush in it, who used to play for Millennium and a bunch of other teams. He's a pretty well-known player in the competitive scene. I'm So Fresh's Smurf, I'm pretty sure, who also played for Millennium and a bunch of other teams. He might even be in the LCS. I'm not actually 100% sure on that, but I don't really pay attention too much. And then there's a bunch of other people who are smurfing and blah blah blah. So this is probably the highest elo game by a mile I've actually uploaded on my channel because my elo has gone up quite a bit recently. So I thought I'd make it a Udyr game just because for me it's interesting to see how my Udyr changes between like elos, because this Udyr is completely different to the Udyr you see in other games where I run around like an idiot and smash people. I know I made a video that said you can play this kind of style in all elos, and you can, but sometimes there's more effective ways to play Udyr, and basically this, in my opinion, is a more effective way to play a high elo. Because I'll explain it in a minute, I guess, because I think it's quite interesting to understand how the mindset changes, I guess. Because honestly, like, I've messed that up, but yeah. Honestly, the thing is, like, when you're playing at higher elos, you play with people you actually know, and you can respect their skill level, I guess. So when I'm playing with someone like Angush, for example, I know that if I feed Angush, that he's probably going to carry the game because there's a reason he's a competitive player and he's a one-on competitive player, blah blah blah. So I don't feel the need to carry games at this elo because I feel like the people I'm playing with are good enough that if I just support them by building like an Aegis or just feeding their lanes and camping their lanes in general, that I'll win the game. And obviously you can't do that at low elos because chances are you have no clue who you're playing with and they're just a bunch of randoms who are at the same elo as you. And I think that's one of the harder things about low reload because your playstyle has to completely change. Like you cannot play to support your team at low reloads and expect to win, whereas at higher reloads you definitely can. So again, normally I wouldn't bother ganking an Elise because it's an Elise. That's such an annoying gank. But it's Anguish and he's pushed up really really high to the tower. And when someone's that far to the tower as Udyr, it's a pretty simple kill usually. So Anguish makes a nice juke on the skill shot, and Elise goes like Rambo and comes in the air and jumps on me. I flash and he flashes and I kill him. So easiest first whatever. I really didn't do anything, and I think he had a ward there the whole time. I'm gonna put the vision back to yeah. So he even knew I was coming, but he just kind of died. I wouldn't expect that from someone who's 2,300, but people make mistakes, so that happens. Also, when you're high lows, you'll notice a lot is that when you have a lane like Caitlyn Zyra, for example, against Alistar Ezreal, that's already a pretty good lane for Caitlyn Zyra. And then you throw in an Alistar support as well, which is really not good against Zyra Caitlyn. Like, there's nothing you can really do as an Alistar against Zyra Caitlyn, honestly. And Ezreal doesn't have the burst damage to make advantage of like Alistar's damage, I guess, the headbutt pulverize. In my mind, at higher lows, this lane should win every time, just because if they play right, and most people at higher reloads you tend to find play a very solid play style and don't do risky things, and then that Elise obviously did do a really risky thing, but you tend to be able to find that if your lane should win like 75% of the time, which this lane should, that the chances are they will win, and you can just leave them alone. Basically, that's what I tend to do. Like especially bottom lane, I tend to find if you gank bottom lane in higher games that you just kind of mess your team up a lot because if they're gonna win, they don't need a gank, and if you gank and they die, then you kind of lose in the lane for no reason, which I would have done anyway. So your mentality really changes, I find. So Alistar made a nice headbutt pulverize there, and I guess Caitlyn dies here. I don't see how you live that. Yeah, so Caitlyn dies. And I tried to gank top again just because why not? Like I said, At high reloads, my playstyle really changes. I don't run around like an idiot. I just try and camp lanes that I know are going to win. So we'll fast forward this because it's a bit boring. Hero tried to gank the Kha'Zix because Annie was almost 6. She communicated to me in chat, I'm almost 6, I'm almost 6, just try and kill him when he's 6. So I was like, okay, I'm not really doing anything else, why not? I don't have a red buff, so I can't really run around. And Annie got 6 here, and I thought she was going to Tibbers here, and I just kind of like, I thought she was going to go here, and she didn't, and then he jumped away because it's Kha'Zix. So that was unfortunate. And then he pinged him again, so I was like, okay, I'll come back, why not? And he just kind of Kha'Zix'd away, and then I was like, okay, I'm bored of that, I'm not going to do that again. That's another thing I find when I play at these games. Obviously, I don't know more than these players. I tend to think I don't know as much about these games as these players, just because I haven't played these high elo games as much as they have. So I tend to trust what they say rather than my own instinct in these games, because if somebody's this elo and they've played at this elo for a long time, and I've only just got to this elo, like, there's no reason why I shouldn't trust them, really. It's always good to learn from people that are better than you, and I think they have a better understanding of the game, so that's why I do that basically. Hey, they're flaming each other because, you know, why not? And I went to take the blue buff here, and this was a simple blue buff take. Like, I knew I could take this just because of how the season played. I knew he was top lane, and Annie came over to help me, so it was pretty free. And I took the blue buff, smited it away. I told Annie I'd give her hers because I will. And that's always a good thing to do. Like, never. That's one thing when you're playing in your promotion games, especially. I tend to find this happens a lot in promotion games. People play really scared and they don't want to make mistakes. And obviously, you don't want to make mistakes because making mistakes loses you games. But you get to a point where you're not making mistakes, but you're not making anything happen either. And then you actually just kind of hurt yourself because you get to a point where you're not actually doing anything. And if you're not doing anything, you're not going to win the game. So that's important to realize as well when you're at high reloads. Well, not even high reloads. It's in games where you're nervous or you don't want to mess up. It's important to actually do stuff. Even if you mess it up, it's still better than doing nothing a lot of the time. Because, like then, if I hadn't stolen this Lee Sin's blue, which would have been Kha'Zix's blue, obviously, you never know how it would have changed the lane. Because Kha'Zix would have had blue. He'd have had free farm on both race camps, because Annie can't really stop him. And he'd have just been jumping around like an idiot, like Kha'Zix does. But because I took his blue, he couldn't really do that. So it really changes the game. One buff really changes the game actually, and it's important to realise that as well. So fast forward this, because I'm just jungling, and yeah, I go for a gank bottom lane here because they're pushed. So obviously, and they're all really hurt. So why would you not go for a gank? And I want Ezreal, but I know I'm not going to kill Ezreal. You get the bear stance onto the Alistar, and I'm not going to kill him because I don't know if they have flash, and both of them have flash, so there's no point in using summoners there to get a kill. So I put a bit of pressure on the lane, but I mean honestly it was a bit of a waste of time for me. But then jungling at this elo, like I said before, you're not really there to carry the game, you're there to support the game. So you don't have to kill lanes like that. Angush here, I don't know, I went for a gank and I thought Lee Sin might have been there, and then it turns out he was there at the wrong time. And I made a bad play here, I think, from what I remember. I went for the Elise, I flashed on him, and then he flashed at the same time, which is really sad, because I didn't think he had flash after that kill, and he did. And yeah, that would have been a dead Elise there, maybe. But I don't know. Sometimes, like I said before, sometimes you have to do things, and that was one of the times I just did something. And it was a flash for a flash, which I think is not a bad trade, really. You know, just even. And maybe flashing Elise is better than flashing Udyr, I don't really know. But interesting for me to think about it like that. The other thing is, 10 minutes into the game, you'll notice I'm only level 7. If this was a low elo game, like some of my other videos, I'd probably be like 8 or 9 easily by now. But I'm not, because I can't really take lane experience from people. Like, if this was a low elo game, I would have taken this lane, 100% of it, and just pushed it right to the tower and cut everything here. But because I know Angush is good, and there's no reason to like mess his lane up, I didn't do that, obviously, because it's a nice freeze here, he can do what he wants with it, unless he pushes it, in which case fine. But yeah, I just don't tend to take people's CS as much at this elo, because there's no need to. So bottom lane got a kill on Ezreal, which is always nice, obviously. And Alistar can't really move. That's such a crazy lane. Zara missed his roots, but it just doesn't matter. And Caitlyn gets the ultimate and kills him. Cool. So Lee Sin actually had his flash up there. He could have flashed over that Alistar and saved him, but he didn't. So, oh well. I'm pinging Dragon here because I think why not? We have Evelyn going for Kha'Zix, which I don't think he wins, from what I remember. He doesn't really lose either, so it's okay. And then we take a Dragon. Dragons are massive in any game, honestly. Like, if you're taking Dragons, chances are you win in the game. It's really as simple as that. The amount of gold and experience you get from Dragons is just crazy. And it's not only that, it's like the mentality of like, oh, we lost a Dragon, and then you take the second Dragon, it's like, oh my god, we lost 2 Dragons in a row now. Team, do something. And it just kind of snowballs the mentality backwards, I really tend to find. Like, so again, just to point out, 12 minutes into the game, I'm still level 7. Nothing to do with me being a bad player, just because I don't want to take people's farm in this game. So, if you actually want to do this, compare this game to the game I uploaded before, and notice how my playstyle changes, because I think it's really different. So I ganked Elise here, and we don't actually kill him, but we push him to the tower, which is fine. And honestly, like, it's just about lane pressure. And that is lane pressure, so, yeah. But I don't actually think Udyr is very good at high lows. In tournament games and high lows, I think Udyr suffers quite a bit. Because he relies on being able to run around like an idiot a lot of the time. And if you can't run around like an idiot and actually like make every play you want to play, there's just better junglers. As simple as that, really. I think if I played Java in this game, or like even Maokai, or just somebody that has a hard initiate and a hard stun, really, that I would have actually done better this game than playing Udyr. But obviously I really like playing Udyr, so I'm going to stick playing Udyr while I'm trying to gain ELO. But now that I've hit Diamond, I really probably am not going to play Udyr very often at all. Because I enjoy playing Udyr, but it's not that good, like I said. And I think learning other champions is just better in my time. So here I was tempted to flash on Kha'Zix actually, because I didn't think he had his jump, but he did. So it's a good job I didn't flash there, because that would have been a fail. Tried to counter jungle Lee Sin, but I don't want to make any mistakes, like I said. And then we notice Elise on this ward here, and honestly, when Elise is pushed that far, and I don't know what he's doing really, he's just going for the Evelyn, but you know, that's not really going to work. He jumps to the creeps because he's Elise, and then I run away because he's Elise. That's the reason I didn't want to get in the lane in the first place. Especially as Udyr. Like I said, if I was Jarvan there, I could have EQ'd when he went in the air and hit him when he landed, and it would have been a free kill. But Udyr, you have to gap close, and you can't really gap close that flash, so that's why Udyr is weak in high lows. So I'm farming mid here just because the Zanny is good, but I need CS now. I'm falling behind. I've noticed that in my game, I'm falling behind. We catch Lee Sin here, he walks into the bush and just kind of dies by Evelyn. I want the assist, but I didn't get anything because Evelyn just killed him. Elise came here and I flashed on him maybe? No. And Angush gets hit by a skill shot, whichever. And I'm just running around, like I said, I'm just supporting. This is like support jungle at its finest, really. I'm not really doing a lot. Bottom lane is just smashing the tower. They're winning by themselves, so I don't need to help that. And then Zara kills Evelyn, Ezreal and Alistar at the same time. So he's getting farmed, you know. Zara support getting farmed is actually a pretty good thing, because it means I don't have to put damage, really. Because why do I need damage when I have Evelyn and Annie and Caitlyn and Zara? I just don't need damage. So this is where my iron mode changes. I said in the last video you should always put a Frozen Fist every single game because it's core of Udyr. And I stand by that statement if you're trying to carry the game. I think it's an amazing item if you're trying to carry the game. But if you're in a game like this, where you really, really don't need to do anything apart from just stand there, because we really have like 4 ranged in a way. Like I would count Evelyn as ranged really, because she's not really ranged. It's like she melees people, sure, but her Q is pretty long range, and you know, just things like that. I would count her as not a heavy melee really. She's not like Lee Sin or something where you're always meleeing people. So I don't really want to be doing anything apart from supporting my team, like I said. So an Aegis is the perfect pickup to support your team, especially when you have a support Zara who's obviously farmed because she's 302 and she's got a Cage's Lucky Pick and a Filler Stone, so she's going to be pretty farmed. I walked into a bush here and I thought it was just Kha'Zix, and it wasn't. Lee Sin hit me and straight flashed over the wall because I had no interest dying, basically. Then we kind of ran back on him, and I was a bit scared because it's Kha'Zix, he does a lot of damage, but nothing really happened, which is fortunate. And they're trying to get Dragon here, but Evelyn comes down, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit, I guess, because not much happens. I watched bottom lane for a minute. That's another thing to notice as well. I might have gone Frozen Fist because Caitlyn went Bloodthirster, but because she went Infinity Edge, there's no reason for me to get any damage. Because Infinity Edge Caitlyn really, really hurts. And especially when it's a good Caitlyn like this, who's obviously good at the game because he did this ELO, you kind of have to trust your team. That's what I did. And again, bit boring game, bit of running around. We take Dragon here for free. Like I said, getting dragons is really key in the game, I think. And they tried to contest it, but like, I don't know. I almost died. Massive damage. Caitlyn, I'm not sure how Caitlyn really lived that. And then we kind of turn the fight around and we get a kill. I think that was an amazing play by Caitlyn to live that, to be honest. I think if I was Caitlyn, I would have died. Because I don't know how I honestly don't know how he lived that. And Kha'Zix is kind of like stuck here. He's killing Tivers, but not really. And then I'm kind of hanging around because I want to bash somebody, but I don't want to die, so I'm just being careful. Evelyn gets the ultimate and gets kicked back, obviously. Root comes out, nothing really can happen. So I'm going to probably recall here. Take his Wolves because I need the XP. I'm kind of falling behind. I'm level 10, which is good still, but it's not, you know, it's as good as Lee Sin, but it's not like as good as I usually do. So, and then just Season Towers. I can hang around as much as I want, but you know, I'm not going to achieve a lot as you do. If I was Jarvan again, I would have hung around here, but I'm not Jarvan, so I'm not hanging around. They trade a Zyra for an Alistar, which is a pretty whatever trade. He got a killing spree, yeah, whatever. Elise comes here, and I think Caitlyn probably dies because that's a hard thing to live against. Yeah, so it just dies. Not really a lot you can do. And I'm in base, came out of base, gonna farm red buff because when you build this kind of Udyr, if you're not building a Frozen Fist, you need a red buff. And I mean, obviously I don't want to take it off Caitlyn, but I still want to be some sort of use. So taking red buff is kind of necessary, really. And again, I'm not really pushing lanes because I don't want to make anyone miss their farm. I mean, I'm at 92 group kills, which is okay, and Lee Sin's at 83, so I'm still beating Lee Sin, which is a really important thing to me. That's one thing you'll notice, like, junglers in lower mid-elo games have massive scores, usually, but in higher elo games, and competitive games, when you watch the LCS, this is a really big thing. My score is 1-0-0, Lee Sin's 1-1-1. He's not really had that much of an impact on the game, and neither is me. Just because it's harder to get kills at higher elos because people pay more attention to the map. They reward the map more. Just in general, you don't need to make kills as often, and that's basically what this game came down to, and what most games at this elo actually come down to. Unless you're playing a jungle that has a hard initiate, like Jarvan, who just makes things happen everywhere, or Eve, who can just gank and you can't really stop it. They're like the two exceptions, in my opinion. So here we catch Elise, and he's just kind of caught between two of us, and it's not a good situation to be in. I get the burst him before he goes in the air, and he goes in the air and just comes down and dies. Simplest kill of my life, I don't really do anything. And Lee Sin kind of comes at me here, and no way he can do anything. I'm just going to defend mid tower. Towers are important in this game, and we win a 4v4 here for sure. So Caitlyn did so much damage, and Lee Sin here calls me Usain Bolt. I would tend to agree. Udyr is pretty fast. Ezreal gets caught here and almost dies. I get the bash into Alistar, and I'm just kind of like protecting my team. I'm not really going in for anything. I'm just protecting my team. That's another thing you'll notice in the other games. I tend to do a lot more damage. In these games, I tend to stand in bear stance a lot more and just bash people. Like if there's 4 players, I tend to go around and like bash, 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 and then by the time I've hit the 4th bash, the first bash has like reset its like duration, the 6-second duration where you can't bash somebody, and then I can bash again. So I'm just kind of like a mini stunning Udyr in fights. That's all I really tend to do, and it tends to be quite effective. So Kha'Zix here gets caught, and then we just go to tower. I didn't really think it was worth flashing, but I flashed and didn't really do anything. So that was quite a bad flash actually by me there. I thought he flashed over the wall, but he didn't. He actually ran up the river. So rather bad play from me there. And he dies anyway, but admittedly that was quite bad from me. I lost vision on that bush, I guess. It was kind of weird. So I'm gonna recall here, I guess. No, yeah, I'm almost dead. And I thought the green blueberry. How can you hate anybody because it's a green blueberry? How do you hate when you're a blueberry? Blueberries can't hate. Everyone knows that. About Aegis at the Legion, something I wouldn't normally do again. It's a really, really strong item to protect your team. But in general, it doesn't help you carry games. It helps your team carry the games, and obviously Deadly Sin is doing the same thing. He's also building Aegis as a Legion. You see that a lot more in these kind of games. If people just build Aegis and don't really try and carry the game, because you can't really rely on carrying games as a jungler in these games. I left a little Wraith there. Bit of a mistake. I probably should have like turned the camera away from where I was there and not let you see that, but oh well. Zarya goes for a little cute steal here. I'm not really sure what happens. Not a lot by the looks of it. Yeah. And again, I'm just farming because I want my Runic Bulwark. After Bulwark, I think I'd probably start building a Frozen Fist because then I've got enough items really. We catch Ezreal and just kill him. Kill Lee Sin after that, and that's kind of like dropped on his head. Just died. I always forget how strong Annie is. Like, the damage Annie can put out is actually really crazy. Because you don't really see it played very often. But when you see it played, it's just like, wow. He just died. And that's another thing. With these little stun timers you get over people's heads, I find playing Udyr quite easy now. Like, easier. Because it lets you not overlap stuns as easy. So, I think that's pretty cool. It's a little mini buff to Udyr, if anybody. And like I said, this Caitlyn is just doing so much damage right now. Like, it's actually crazy. The try and surrender doesn't go through. I'm pinging top tower, we get the top tower. And at least it almost dies here. And I was going to hit the tower here, but I thought, you know what, my team's going Rambo, I'll go Rambo as well, why not? So I'm kind of frontlining for my team so Ezreal can't queue people. And Caitlyn's just hitting people, honestly. It's crazy. It's really nice watching a good Caitlyn play, actually. I really enjoy watching good Caitlyn's play. So this was a mistake actually by our team here. Basically, we're all quite low. I'm really low. And they have an enemy Kha'Zix. And I'm sure you can probably see what's coming here. But yeah. This is what happens when you pick Kha'Zix when you have 4 people that are low. Basically, he jumps away, I'm gonna go into the bush, and he kills me, because the Ezreal almost hits me. I think. No, he just killed me straight up. And that was unfortunate, I shouldn't have died there. Caitlyn misses a Q, he gets another kill, jumps away, and Caitlyn goes after him. And then he evolves in the bush. This Kha'Zix just used his evolve in the bush. And that's quite an unfortunate play by him really. There's not yeah. Basically he would have killed Caitlyn here. Because he had his Q and his W up and his Ignite. I would say he would kill Caitlyn with 500 HP before he gets to the bush. Like, that's quite, you know, I would say that would happen probably. His Q and W does like what? 450 plus 500 odd. And isolated, so it's even more. So that would have been a dead Caitlyn 100% of the time. Instead, he chose to evolve in the bush, and he died. So I thought it was pretty funny. Caitlyn makes a nice play here and gets the Ezreal. And then Kha'Zix starts all chatting. Lol, I was evolving. And yeah, he thought it was a Pokemon, but he wasn't. So that happened. I got my Runic Bulwark. And that was actually quite scary, honestly. I don't like when Kha'Zix get fed like that. It's not really fed, but it's just scary when they jump around your team and just kill you. And you feel kind of useless, really. So I left my red buff here because Caitlyn's so strong right now that I didn't feel the need to take it. And honestly, I think with red buff, like 25 minutes into the game, AD carriers should get red buff most of the time. Especially when they're as good as this Caitlyn. Like, there's no reason not to give them that. I got the third, maybe fourth, I'm not 100% sure, dragon in the game. And that's about my role this game, just taking dragons. And here, we were actually a bit scared. This is where Ally chat was like, okay, we need to focus a bit because they get into the stage of the game where they're getting the item builds and they're getting the strength where they can actually kill us if we make mistakes. Ezreal, I don't really know what he was doing. He just kind of died by Caitlyn. I think he'd given up at this point of the game, to be honest. Because we said in team chat, like, looking at a team, they have a Lee Sin, who's obviously not the strongest character in the game right now, but he's pretty strong. They have a Elise, who's really, really strong. He's got his Andres, which is like the core item you want on that character. Kha'Zix is getting strong as well. If he gets any more items, it's going to be really pain. And if Ezreal gets blue Ezreal, you know, that's really kiteable. And I'm playing Udyr. I really don't want to get kited as Udyr. So we need to end the game now, basically, was our kind of like idea. Kha'Zix gets caught, jumps away, gets flashed over on the wall. Somehow lives because he's Kha'Zix. And then we get a nice fight here actually from what I remember. I get onto Alistar, which is not who I want to be on. I bear stance in and get the stun onto Elise. I'm just kind of doing damage. Somehow Evelyn lives for this long, I have no idea how. Elise comes down onto Caitlyn, Caitlyn kills him. Elise then dies by Ignite somewhere, and then I'm just going to chase him down. I didn't mean to press the pause button there. Chase him down, barely kill Alistar, I'm not really sure. Caitlyn's like not looking. Caitlyn's just kind of like, nah, I don't want to kill him. And then he actually, I'm going to rewind that. I found this hilarious when this happened in the game, so I'm going to watch that again. Basically, Alistar's making like plays, he thinks he's good, and admittedly, it's a pretty good play, you know, I can't really deny. And he has the vision here on this one little golem, he has the vision, because there's Kha'Zix recalling in the bush. And he gets, I get the bear, he's 30 HP here. He headbutts through to the golem, and then he gets meleeed, and I get the kill. I found that pretty amusing when it happened in the game. Yeah, report the golem. Too strong. And basically, that was it. I think that was pretty much game over from that. And this Kha'Zix is trolling, I don't really know what he's doing. And then we backed off and took Baron, I guess, here. Maybe? I'd imagine we got Baron, but I don't know. We'll see. I took blue. No, I gave it to Evelyn. Why not? And then they're like, this actually confused me quite a bit here. They're like, please no Baron. And I was like, okay, they're probably not going to go Baron. And then they just kind of went Baron and killed it. And it was quite unfortunate. Yeah, so they just took a Baron, and then we kind of like went to Baron. And this is quite risky, because when they have Baron and you run into a fight 5v5, you know, it's not really something you want to do. But Evelyn's so strong right now that it just didn't really matter. We catch Alistar, but I don't have red or a frozen fist, so my catching isn't the best. It's like a mini stun for, I don't know how long, 1 second? Yeah, 1 second. It's not a long time to stun someone for, honestly. But then we just kind of ran at their base and just killed it. So hopefully this is something you can learn from, I guess, but at the same time it's not really, because it's more a high-elo game and you don't want to play like this in low reloads. If there's one thing you should learn is, don't try and imitate this playstyle at low reloads. Imitate the playstyle in my last video where I showed you how to actually carry a game, not this, which is how to support a team and let them carry you. That's the difference in this game. Because I mean, honestly, like I was 3-1-7, which is still a good score, but in reality, I didn't win this game. I'm sure you can see that from how the game played out. I didn't win this game. My team won this game, and that's the difference. I can rely on my team in these elos. Everyone in this game played well, apart from possibly Ezreal, and maybe at least at the early game. But everyone in this game played well. We just simply had a better team comp and better team play. So that's what a lot of these games come down to. It's just team comp and better team play. So hopefully you enjoyed this game, and like I said at the start of the video, I'll try and make more videos in the future because I have more time and I actually feel happy with where I am as a League of Legends player. That sounded really nerdy, but I mean, that's the only way to say it really. Now I've hit Diamond, I have more time to make videos, basically. So thanks for watching this video, and hopefully you enjoyed it.